Hey everybody, it's Cooking with Cory. I told you once I got my kitchen remodel on the way I'd make more videos. So this is my new floor. It looks very nice. I like it. I still need to put my dishwasher back. Don't look at that. But yeah, this is my new floor and it looks beautiful. And I like it. It looks really good. We still gotta like wipe it down and clean the grout out and seal it and all that. But for the most part, it looks good. And now I know my lighting sucks, but I need to, that's on my list to do, is to get a better light for up there. But anyway, so I've already kind of started on my meat pies because meat pies take a little bit longer than 20 minutes to do. So what I did is I got the meat and the vegetables. I started sauteing the vegetables first because the vegetables are really hard and they take a few minutes to get soft. And I don't want them to get too smushy because I don't like pot pies with like slimy vegetables in them, but whatever. So anyway, yeah, I already pre-did the meat and the vegetables, and right now what I did was I started on the pie crust. I know some of you probably haven't watched all of my videos, or you're too lazy to scroll back and look at the ones where I actually make pie crust. So I'm gonna do it again for you, those of you who don't watch. And I may have actually done like a chicken pot pie before. I can't remember if I made pot pie. I don't know. I got a lot of videos and I forget sometimes when I make stuff. So if this is a repeat, well, too bad. Just deal with it. Freaking don't watch it. You can stop watching now if it's a rerun. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is I got my lard in my flour with my salt and my sugar. So it's 2.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of sugar and a teaspoon of salt, and then a cup of lard, or if you're going to use shortening or butter, it's a cup, whatever the cup of the fat that you choose to make in there. Now, there's a way to make it with vegetable oil, so if you're like a freaking tree-hugging vegetable eater and you don't like to eat anything that came from an animal, even if it's the rendered fat of that animal, then I would suggest you figure out how to do it with vegetable oil, because there is a way to make it with vegetable oil. But all right, I'm all alone today. Sweet. Everybody must be still at work, which is okay because I make these when I get home from work. I just had to make the dog a vet appointment, and then I had to kind of settle down when I got home a little bit. All right. So anyway, you just kind of keep smooshing and smooshing, and what you want to get is you want it to have the consistency of like a gravelly fine. You should have some like pea-sized chunks of fat still in here for your crust. Now I like to use the flaky crust because like I'm those people with the pot pie. Like I cut the lid and then I take the little edge piece, and like I like the brown edge piece, and I dip it in the juice and all that. So anyway, oh, the vegetables is I got 1 carrot, 2 celery sticks, a half an onion, a pound of meat, maybe a little less than a pound of meat, any kind of meat. You can put whatever meat you want in there, and then some garlic, and cooking all that, simmering it in some bacon fat, so it'll have a nice good flavor. Alright, so this is looking like it's sticking together pretty good already, and it's about ready for the water. So normally what you do, and when it says use ice water, it means use ice water. Like you want to go get ice cubes, put them in the cup, and mix it with your pastry dough. Because what happens is if you use like warm water, or even like, because I'm touching this with my hands a little too much, the fat starts to get melted in here more than you want it to be, and then it doesn't stick the way that you would like it. So see right now it's kind of really, it's really doughy and clumpy and sticking, so I may be ready right now. It's already sticking together kind of for me, which is a good thing. I got a little carried away with the fat, and I may have put a little more than I'm supposed to put in there. Anyway, the dog knows I'm cooking, so he's right there having a meltdown. What? It's not raining out, dude. And it's not your time to eat. You have an hour, dude. You got an hour. No, go away. You have an hour. You need to chill out. Alright. So it says 1 1/3 cup of ice water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ice in this cup. And yes, I know the cup is all kind of grimy with pie stuff in it, but it's all the same ingredients that's in that bowl. It's flour and sugar, and so don't judge. I didn't feel like rinsing it out. All right, so here's 1/3 cup right here. You don't need these fancy ones that tell you what they are on the bottom or that have little spill things on them, but they are kind of nice. All right, so we're gonna take this ice water and it's supposed to be 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon. Bam, right there. All right, now we need our dough smusher here. Man, still got nobody on, huh? Dude, I guess I went too long without making videos. Now everybody's like, check with this guy. We don't want to watch him no more. He doesn't make videos enough. All right, so we're gonna need this water into this dough. Like I said, I may have worked it a little too much, so it's not quite cooperating as well as I would like it to, but we're just gonna keep folding it in. Folding it in. Noah, go lay down. Oh, heck with it, I'm just gonna use my hand, and if it's gonna be too wet, like it seems like it might be a little wet, I'm just gonna rinse it, because the recipe calls for 1 cup plus a tablespoon. I should have known as well as it was sticking together. Probably didn't need that much, but you know, I like to obey the recipes, especially when you're baking, because baking recipes, unlike other recipes, are usually very specific. Again, when I talk about the art and the science, baking is both. It's definitely the science, because if you screw up on a recipe on the amount that you use, you will not get it back. It's very hard, and your cakes will come out flat. Your pies won't taste good. It's terrible. It's all bad. It's all bad stuff that happens when you do that. So you don't want that to happen. Alrighty, so this is doing pretty good in here. And I'm trying not to knead it with my hands because I don't want my body heat making this dough all gooby. But you know, other things are taking over here. So I got my dough hook going, and it's looking like this stuff is nice and sticky now. Sticking together, like not sticking too bad, but sticking them well enough that you know, I can form it into my two balls. So I got my two balls of dough here. So what we're gonna do is, it is still kind of sticky. I'm gonna make 2 balls out of it. First, I'm gonna take this ball, and I won't cut it in half with my Judy chop. There. So there we go. Bam. So I got 2 balls of dough. Now, one is going to be slightly bigger than the other. Now you say, why? Why would you do one slightly bigger than the other? Well, I'll tell you. Because one is going to be the bottom pastry and one's going to be the top pastry. And what I've learned over time of making pastries, if you make all of them the same size, sometimes they don't fit. And you run out of stuff, and you want them to overlap well. So you want the top to be able to overlap the bottom so that you can scrunch it all up and make a thing out of it. But see, so this is going to get fixed a little bit when I shook a little bit of flour out on the board when I'm rolling these out. Now also, what I can do, and what a lot of cookbooks suggest to do, is I can freeze the dough and let it get cold, really cold in the freezer while I'm doing other things, because you really want this dough to not be super duper sticky, and freezing it, it's not going to freeze solid in the little bit amount of time it's going to take me to make this stuff. So, and I lost my towel. All right. So I got my thingy on here. Okay, where are we at? 9 minutes? 9 minutes. Not anybody logging on yet. That's the holidays. So, all right. So let's do a little bit of checking on our meat. This is probably really hot. Alright. May need to turn the fan. Oh, well, you guys can't hear me if I turn the exhaust fan on, so not going to do that. But alright, so now to make the gravy, one of the things that I'm going to want to do is, now that the meat's kind of getting all cooked up, I'm going to want to make some broth to simmer around in here to help make the gravy for the meat pie. You could technically just throw it in like this. I mean, it's not a big deal. You could just take the veggies and spill them right into the pie crust and not even really worry about a gravy. Or if you're, you know, not so inclined to make any kind of gravy, or you're too intimidated by making gravy, or whatever your issues are, what you can do is you could just buy some canned gravy and just dump like a half a can of gravy in there. Now, or a can, whatever. I mean, whatever's gonna fit in the size that you're using. So okay, I'm gonna freeze these real quick just for a little while. Alright, so we're giving this the wet fur here. Now, oh yeah, and mushrooms. I got mushrooms in here. There's some little mushrooms. Or not little, they're actually kind of big. But for some reason, like, Kroger's mushrooms have been pretty crappy lately. And they go bad really fast. So these were starting to just getting ready to turn where they were getting slimy. And I wanted to use them quickly. So since I wasn't going to make anything else with them, I figure meat pie it is. Alright. So, I will grab this, put the lid back on there, let them babies simmer down some more, and now I'm going to get the beef gravy. Beef gravy. Alright. That one's not going to work for gravy. Okay. So you can make the gravy on the stovetop. If you had some kind of meat where you had like leftover fat, I would suggest using that because it would probably taste really, really good. But because I don't have that, what I'm going to do is get my beef juice. Beef juice. Got my handy dandy beef juice. Starting to come back to me. I think maybe I did make this for you guys already before. So that's probably why nobody's watching, because they're like, it's a rerun. They ain't watching no damn reruns. Anyway. So we want 1 cup of this. And we need 1, is it a tablespoon or is it a teaspoon? I think it's a teaspoon, but I want to make sure before I go. Yeah, teaspoon. Alright. So I can tell my daughter's been eating this stuff again, which I've asked her not to do, but for whatever reason, I guess she likes to eat this stuff. I don't use it that often, so I don't really catch it because, I mean, it is pretty tasty. It's meat paste. Oh, somebody logged in. All right. Now, because we're doing this, and it's already going into something hot, you don't have to necessarily make it like throw it in the nuker and get it all hot and boil it. You can just kind of mush it apart here, give it a little love, and do that. Now, there's several ways to make your gravy. Like again, I said you can make gravy on the stovetop. You can make gravy right in there. You can just add a thickening agent to your dish and let that thicken it up as it's in there, which is a way. You could just like drizzle some flour over the vegetables and the meat and then stir it in there and it'll thicken up on its own. Problem with that is if you don't get the mixture quite right, it'll taste really like floury. It won't be as good as you might think it's going to be. Alright, so this is nice and mixed up. You can tell it's made with real meat because it's got little fat particles that are sticking to everything. Alright. So we'll stick that down in there. We'll get all the flavor. Okay. Alright, so we'll let that settle in there for a little bit. And then what I like to do, because it's getting ready to be the holidays, right? So we need some holiday cooking tips to start doing. So you always want to practice. Like if you've never cooked a holiday meal before and you wait till the day of the holiday to decide that that's when you're going to learn, you are wrong. And you're probably going to, good luck to you. I hope that your stuff turns out right, but probably not going to happen. You always want to practice before the big day. So like if you've never, ever cooked a turkey before, you might want to go get like a little chicken, a baker, and bake that sucker up first, like a couple nights before, so that you understand how baking a piece of poultry works. And if you're one of them idiot firemen that likes to throw turkeys in the deep fat fryer freaking while they're still frozen, then you should know better and you get burns all over your body. Thanks for being stupid. Don't do that. You should always defrost your turkey before you throw it into the deep fat fryer. And shame on the firemen, they should know better. Alright, let's see. Oh, I'm gonna make a pecan pie too, so if you guys want to watch some, before Christmas, I'll probably make a pecan pie. My girlfriend's niece is like deathly afraid of nuts, or she can die if she has them or something, so I can't make a pecan pie for Thanksgiving, but I will make one for Christmas. And I don't know, we'll put it in a different room so she's not exposed to it, I guess. I was going to do something and I forgot what I was doing. That's, think for a minute. Oh, thickening agent. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. And let's see here. Oh, I got sweetened condensed milk. That's always something you need for the holidays. It was on sale for 25 cents a can, so I stocked up on it. What the heck? Where's my damn thickening agent? There we go. Come on, Burger. Way in the back. Haven't had to make gravy for a while, so a little bit lacking on. So I like to use cornstarch to thicken stuff. You can use arrowroot, you can use flour, you can use whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. I prefer, let's see, blah 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 equals 2. Yeah, so this is a 2-to-1 mix. Well, so when you do this 2-to-1 mix, so if you were going to use 2 tablespoons of flour to make your roux or your gravy, then with that you only have to use 1. And this doesn't taste like a mouthful of flour. So if you screw up, it's not going to taste foul. Alrighty, so I'm going to put just a tiny touchy bit of water in here. About a 1/4 cup, not even that. And we're going to rinse this baby off because it got a little bit of schmutz on it there. Schmutz in there. I'm going to dry it because we're drying. We do not want to introduce moisture into our little vat here. So let's see. Alright, so normally I would use, for that amount of liquid in there, I would use 4 things of flour. So I'm going to use 2 things of cornstarch. Okay? Yep. Now, the reason I don't just add the cornstarch directly into the dish is because it would make like little dumplings in there, which is kind of gross, and nobody wants to have that in there. So what you do is you just kind of make this, not necessarily a paste. I mean, you still want it to be kind of gravyish in there, and this stuff's going to cook up a little. So you just get it so it's, you know, not sticking to the sides anymore, and do your thing like that. Make sure it's not sticking, and you just pour that right in with your stuff. Blah. And what'll happen is again, it's a chemical reaction. So that thickening agent is going to get in there. It's going to start bonding to the fat in the gravy, which is why gravy has to have fat in it. So, I mean, if you're like super veggie person and you don't like fat and you try to make vegetable gravy, it's kind of icky. It can be done. It just doesn't taste very good. And as good as avocados are for you, and avocado fat and all that, you cannot use avocados to make gravy. They make guacamole, they do not make gravy. So, unfortunately, all you vegans, if somebody does have a vegan vegetarian recipe for gravy that doesn't taste like a mouthful of nasty, then I would be more than happy to make it on my show and let people see it and see how it comes out, give it a taste test, do all that. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. I already put salt and pepper in it also, although it didn't tell you that. And I just heard glass breaking, so I need to go see what just happened to the dog. What the hell? Seriously? Go lay down. Go on your chair now. I really dislike cats. I cannot say how much I dislike cats. But I love my cats, but I really don't like cats. So what happened was, I guess the dog was chasing the cats, and the cats decided to jump on the slippery tablecloth and slide across and wiped all my shit off of the table and broke everything that was on there. So that's what just happened, in case you were wondering why I was gone for so long. Alright, so we're going to put our flour down on the table. I did clean the table, so before you guys like logged in and stuff, I'm sure you will see that the table was cleaned. And the smaller one is the one we want to use first. Again, you can round this out on the flour. It's not going to hurt it to get extra flour in it because it's made of flour. It's a dough, so it's not that big a deal. And whether you have this kind or the old wheel kind, it doesn't really matter. It's just, you just need something to make the dough flat. To get some big scratches on the table. I don't want it to get too big, and I did just realize that I'm making it in a circle from habit, but it's actually needs to be a square because it's going to go in here. This is a 2-quart dish. I'm really hoping 2 quarts is going to be enough. I think I made a little more of the vegetable stuff than I thought I made, so I guess we will find out here in a second, because if it doesn't fit, I can have to move some flour around here. Now the good thing is you can move this thing around a little bit here, and it's not too bad. You can kind of press it up against the sides. It's still very moldable, and then because I put it in the freezer, it's a little bit easier to operate on here. And you get one of these little oopses right here. See how the dough's a little thicker and I have a lot of extra over here? You just, oops, and you just patch that right up. You don't want any holes in your dough in the bottom, because that's where all of the juices are taking place, and it will end up leaking out. And then what it does is it sticks to every single thing that it touches. And you would be amazed at how much goo can come out. And you'll still have a pie, but you will notice that it's very shallow, because all your juice ended up leaking out underneath of it. And then it's, for some reason, it has the powers of physics change underneath, because whatever drips underneath there dries out in raisin freaking hard. I don't understand it. I don't know why it happens, but it just does. All right, so we filled our little bowl. Again, the bottom one, you know, it just needs to be able to hold all the stuff. So we're good. Now, some people would put the big one on the bottom and then flop it over, but then you have these big giant doughy sides, which is a little too much. I like some dough, but not all that. Not all that. Alrighty. Now, because I'm not sure if this is all gonna fit, I'm gonna spoon it in there because I'm not 100% sure it'll all fit. Let's see how it's looking. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just doubting myself because I had a little problem with the visions that if I was gonna be all fit in there, but it's gonna fit. It's gonna fit just fine. Alright. And as you can see, like I put that broth in there, but now with the cornstarch to thicken it up, there, it made a nice little gravy. So it's nice and gravied up. Alright, I'll take care of that later. Alright, so, dang, actually that made less than I thought it was gonna make. Well, here I was concerned I wasn't gonna have a big enough pie dish, but the good thing is I like crust, and I can definitely, yeah, there we go. Okay, can you guys see that? Oh man, I put it in the wrong place, sorry. There you go, now you can see. So I'm gonna spread my meat out nice and flat. There we go. Some mushrooms sticking out in there. I mean, you can make this any kind of pot pie you want. You can make it with vegetables. You can make it with friggin' chicken. You can make it tuna. You know, whatever. Now, I know some of you have never heard of potato chips on your tuna either, so I'm just saying, you know, that's potato chips on your tuna casserole is good stuff. So you could put some, you know, you could make a dough with your potato chips, and then you could make like use potato flakes for your dough. Ooh, that, you know what? I think I might make that one day, and make your tuna casserole that way. Or just make it a pot pie. Put a little thickening in it, a little gravy. Sounds good to me. All right. And the thing with pie crust is you can't be afraid of it, man. Don't like get all timid and wussy on it. You know, like you can get pretty aggressive with it. And if it's not doing what you want, you can just ball it back up and put it back in the bowl and make it a ball and start over again. So what we're gonna do, see, look at that, I already ripped it. All right, but it's not the end of the world. See, I'm not gonna cry. We're just gonna patch the hole. All right. Take this bad boy here. All right, I'm gonna throw it right over the top. Right over the top, right there. Okay. So the good thing with this one is that we have plenty of leftover stuff. You guys see that? Am I in the way? Probably in the way. We got plenty of leftover stuff, so I made a little more than I thought I was gonna need, which is good. It's okay, because I like crust a lot. Maybe not as much as this baby's gonna make, but all right. So I already have the oven at 350. It's been preheated. Oh no. Okay. It's been preheated already. I'm just folding this together and sticking it all inside so that it'll make a neat little crust in there. And man, did I underestimate the amount I was gonna make? But that's okay. That's okay. I got lots of crust right there. Look at that. Be big old hunks of crust. And now, especially with fruit pies, but again with meat pies, you want to make sure that you flute the edges pretty good and get it all nice and sealed so stuff doesn't burble out, because it will make a hell of a sticky mess. Now, another secret is to take a piece of aluminum foil, put that down the bottom of your oven, because in the holidays you're going to spill stuff, whether you think so or you're the best cook in the world, whatever. You're gonna spill stuff, so put it down in there. So again, like that's some crazy crust right there. So crazy, so much. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my knife, and I'm going to make a little X in the middle here. Plop, 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 just like that. That's just a vent so that the juices can get out. I'm gonna put this in the oven, and I went 10 minutes over. My bad. If I wouldn't have had to go chase the dog and cat, I probably would have made it within my normal time. But anyway, I'm gonna bake this baby up for maybe about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Check on it, see how the crust is. If the crust isn't done, I'll do it another 5 minutes at a time. That's a good way to do baking if you're not sure. Bake it for 5 minutes more, just keep checking it and see if it's good. But when you check it, don't keep opening the door because you're letting the heat out. Turn the light on and look through the window. If your oven's so dirty you can't see it, maybe you might want to clean your oven. But